Week 3 of the NFL. Week 2 had quite a few interesting games and some upsets. Great matchups here for Week 3. Some we're showing here. Ravens, Cowboys, Eagles, Saints are your headliners. Go along with Texans, Vikings, and the surprising Falcons hosting the Chiefs. Eagles at the Saints. If you watched our first preseason video, we had picked the Saints to win the NFC South. Got nothing but hate in the comments. I mean, serious hate. We're high on the Eagles. We thought they were the best team after Week 1 for what they did against Green Bay. But then watching what the Saints did against the Cowboys, back-to-back games, just sheer offensive dominance. We have to take the home Saints here over the Eagles. We think it'll be close. We think the Saints are on a roll. We don't think the Eagles can stop them. I think the Saints defense might even be better than the Eagles. This year's Saints are a great example of finding teams with a poor reputation and getting value on them. But if you look back to 2023 season, the Saints actually finished 9-8, tied for the NFC South division, only lost because of a tiebreak, despite outscoring Tampa Bay by an average of 3 points per game, which in the NFL is significant. They won 4 of their final 5 games, but coming into the 2024 season, had no respect, and look what they've done. Next up, we've got our wagering tip of the week, and we're going to look at early lines. We recorded this Monday night as the Monday Night Football game was being played. I want to show you some possible value you can get in looking at early lines. And we're curious, the Eagles-Saints game, that the Eagles are favored here because they did so well in Week 1. Let's go ahead, and we like the Saints anyway, so we're going to be able to take them at +3. Now, if by chance the Eagles lose against the Falcons, we might get great values. That line will shift. And now, after the upset win, as the Falcons defeat the Eagles on Monday Night Football, let's take a look at the lines again. And wow, what value we had taking the Saints +3. Now it's Saints -2.5, -3, a swing of 5.5 to 6 points. You see the value in getting the early lines, and we can scroll down here and take a look at the Chiefs. Also, the Chiefs Falcons, since the Falcons won, that line dropped from 4.5 to 3.5, a full point value, and then that could continue to move. But we've learned that if you get it super early, you might see 2 to 3, 4 points of fluctuation. Then you could potentially middle some games because, as we've seen, a lot of these numbers are falling on the 6 to 6.5, 7. You can middle and win on both sides. So take a look at that this week. Texans at the Vikings, and we're going to take a unique approach for this one. We want your vote. Hit us in the comments. Who do you like? Texans, Vikings, both 2-0, both looking sharp to start the season. Texans, great victory over the Bears, and then the Vikings winning on an unbelievable play here, 97-yard touchdown to Justin Jefferson. But he might be hurt for this game. We're going to watch the injury report, so hit us up with your vote in the comments. We're not going to try to subliminally influence the outcome one bit. Commanders at the Bengals. Interesting storyline here. Two LSU Heisman Trophy winning quarterbacks face off. Rookie Jaden Daniels against Joey B. And looking at statistics for rookie quarterbacks, Jaden Daniels is vastly outperforming Caleb Williams. And we thought he was the best quarterback in the draft. It remains to be seen. It's early. But in this one, we think the Bengals come back from 0-2, back at home. Hopefully they'll correct some mistakes. We think they got a little bit, I'm not going to say cheated, but they were victimized by Kansas City calls. We'll just say that. We like them here 31-21 over the Commanders. How to play this one? We like the totals number here going over. Look at the number for 48. We think it'll be a fast-paced game. We like what the Commanders did on offense. Despite settling for field goals, we think that correct. And we know about the Bengals and Joey B. And before we continue, if you would, just join our channel. And if you like this video or find it useful, like it and then subscribe. We provide weekly NFL picks, highlights, and sports travel. Thank you. Chiefs at the Falcons. Falcons coming off that dramatic victory over the Eagles on Monday Night Football. Chiefs back-to-back lucky wins over good opponents. When I say luck, that's not meant to be disparaging, but that fumble recovery TD they had, beating the Ravens by a toe, likely just getting on the line. We think that comes back. We like the Falcons here and an upset, 24-21. We think a home team indoors is a big advantage. We've always liked that. We think Kansas City is a little bit off compared to prior years. We recommend taking the Falcons +4 points if you can find that. A couple keynotes: Kansas City should be missing Pacheco, the running back, very dynamic running back. He's out for this game. And the Falcons' defense only allowed 21 to the Eagles, 18 to the Steelers, despite having 3 turnovers. That means the defense allowed virtually nothing. So take a look at that. Broncos at the Bucs, and don't look now, but 2 of the best teams in the NFC come from the NFC South, the division we rated as the weakest overall in the NFL. Well, you never know, right? Now it's only 2 games in the season. Broncos don't look like they're going anywhere anytime soon. We think the Buccaneers take this one 24-10 over the visiting Broncos. So how to play this one? We like Tampa Bay here, and look for the 6-point line. We see it right now, hovering somewhere between 6.5 and 7. Try to get that number off the 6.5. We made that play with the Texans Bears game and save us from a loss got a push by getting the 6 and not the 6.5. Panthers at the Raiders, and in our earlier video, we had said we felt that Bryce Young should be benched. They'd given him enough of an opportunity. They did exactly that. So curious to see what Andy Dalton can do in his first start at the Raiders' first start this season. But the Raiders' defense is really intriguing. It's going to be that pass rush is going to be tough for almost any quarterback. So we like them here, 21-14. Again, low-scoring game. Offense is still trying to figure it out, but they're going to be an interesting team this year. Look out for the Raiders. We recommend the Raiders money line minus 250. The line is currently 5.5. We hate that number. We want to stay off that. Go money line for that. If you like the totals, go under 41.5. 41 is a key number. We think that this will be a defensive game. Bears at the Colts, two underperforming offenses going up against two pretty decent defenses. And for all the talk about Caleb Williams and that Bears offense, we've been most impressed with the Bears defense. Even though they lost at Houston, that's not really bad, holding the Texans to 19 points in Houston. And then Tennessee, they were able to basically take over the game. So we like them winning a close one here, 21-17 over the Colts. Being at Indy, there might be some offensive struggles again, being a grass team playing indoors on turf. We think the best way you play this is the Bears are actually underdogs here. Try to get that 2 number just to cover, the 1 to 2 point margins. And then we really think if you're a totals player, we think the Bears defense is going to keep Anthony Richardson down. We like the under 43. See if you can get the number higher. We got it at 45. We're happy to get that as it did move down. So take a look at that. Baltimore, Dallas, these teams are really evenly matched. The difference could be Lamar, Dak, who performs better. We think Lamar's offensive line is the big issue, and the defense isn't quite as good as last year, losing key players such as linebacker Queen, who went to Pittsburgh. We think the Cowboys have a slight edge here at home. It's razor thin. We think Dak's going to bounce back from a bad game against the Saints. The Saints really are that good. I wouldn't think too poorly on the Cowboys from having a loss, so we like the Cowboys here by 3. Lions at the Cardinals in week 2. The Cardinals look like the Super Bowl favorites, not the Lions. They look like the fourth place team in their own division as they lost to the Bucs at home. We look at this one and we have to think week 2 was an anomaly, at least for the Lions, if not the Cardinals. We think they've got more talent overall. We think even going on the road should be the Lions, the silver and blue, taking this one 28-21 over the home Cardinals. Chargers at the Steelers, basically a battle of offense against defense. Who's going to win out? We think the Steelers have been very impressive with what they've done with their pass rush, going against two somewhat immobile quarterbacks and one being a rookie. But that pass rush being relentless, and when they've got on the back end too with Joey Porter Jr., we think that's going to be enough to give Justin Herbert some grief. And we like the Steelers taking this one 21-17 in a low-scoring game at Pitt. And for our recommended play for this game, we're going to go a little bit contrarian. We look at these two teams, we think defense, especially Pittsburgh, right? We see value in the over because it moved from 38.5 to 35.5. And with our expected margin of victory 21-17, we think that takes you over the total. We think this will be a defensive game, yes, but there could be a special teams touchdown, could be a pick six. Other ways to score, plus Herbert can put up some points. Packers at the Titans, and great team effort last week for the Packers in a win over the Colts at home. Anthony Richardson really helped them out with a couple of interceptions. The offense, unfortunately, didn't do much on the other side. Will Levis also had a great offensive game, but keeps making mental errors, such as this pitchback, which cost him a potential field goal or potential touchdown. But we look at the Titans also on the optimistic side. They've got the offensive firepower. We think they're due for a breakout game. The Packers have a good defense, but at home, if they can click Calvin Ridley, all those guys, we think they can put up at least 24 and win this one 24-17 over Green Bay. Best play for this one, pretty simplistic. Just take the Titans here. See if you can get that 2.0 number. We're seeing a lot of 2-point margins of victory. Otherwise, get that 2.5, which is currently the lowest. Jaguars are the Bills, and of all the teams that have made adjustments between last year and this year, I've been most impressed with what Buffalo's doing. Because we talk about Josh Allen all the time. We pick on him a little bit. We compare him. We call him the modern day Brett Favre, and that's both a compliment and an insult. Got all the talent, skill, arm strength, throws a lot of interceptions. What are they doing this year? Running the ball more, controlled passing game, low risk passes. They're looking great. So we like Buffalo to continue take care of Jacksonville at home. The Jags are really struggling. They should have beaten Cleveland at home, and they didn't do it. And then they let a winnable game at Miami also slip away. Looking at the line here, Buffalo's favored by 5.5 to 6, depending on where you look. An odd thing happened last week, if you noticed. Any favorite of 6.5 to 7 points or more did not cover. Double check us on that. We're pretty sure Texans, Cowboys, Ravens. There were two others, Lions. So we suggest the money line here. We find this a weird setup. 2-0 team hosting 0-2, so obvious to take the favorite. That makes us want to go contrarian. Miami goes to Seattle to face the Seahawks without Tua. Curious to see what his status is for the remainder of the year. Definitely concerned for his health and availability. We live here in South Florida. A lot of people are concerned there. Going into Seattle, that's no easy task, even for a veteran, much less backup to go in there and face that Mike McDonald-led defense. We're also a little concerned with Mike McDaniel's offense with the Dolphins. We think it's a little bit gimmicky. We're not seeing much variation in 2024 from what we saw back in 2022, and we're sure defenses are ready. So we like the Seahawks here, 31-17 over the visiting Fin. Interesting line pattern. Line has moved from Seahawks -6.5 to -4. We suggest you take that -4 and split it with the money line. Curious why that would move from 6.5 to 4 with the injury to 2 and all that. Maybe someone in the know knows something. Watch that carefully. Recommend you split this between the straight line and the money line. 49ers at the Rams, and it's odd. This game sometimes becomes like a home game for the 49ers with their national following. Of course, it's in the same state, right? You have a lot of traveling San Francisco 49er fans, but they're everywhere, like Pitt fans. But looking at the Rams with their injuries, Nakua is out, and we think that Cooper Kupp sustained an injury against the Cardinals. We like the 49ers winning here 28-17 over the home Rams. We think they're going to bounce back from that disappointing game at Minnesota. The Rams' injuries on offense are one thing, but we've been very concerned with their defense. Clearly, they miss Aaron Donald. How could you not? Future Hall of Famer. So we recommend the 49ers here, -6. Again, we see it 6.5 at 7. Try to get the number down to 6 to stay off of that number. We think they're going to cover comfortably in this one. And the Thursday night game with the Patriots visiting the Jets. Is Aaron Rodgers back? Are the Jets a force to be reckoned with? We predicted they'd win the AFC East. Now we have to be favoring the Bills. But we think they've got the advantage here. We think the Patriots' defense will give them some fits early, where we think Rodgers and that offense will be ultimately more than what the Patriots can stop. 21-17 at home on Thursday. We predict the Jets to win, but our pick recommendation is actually the Patriots +7 if you can get it. Most of the places have it at 6. We think it's a great underdog setup. Division rival coming off a loss. Jets had a little bit of a lucky win. Next up, we have the Giants at the Browns. Giants for that tough game, that loss at Washington. Back-to-back road games doesn't help them out going up against that Browns pass defense. We're not really impressed with what Deshaun has done so far. They won at Jacksonville. They kind of won ugly. 2 of 14 on third downs. That's not going to get it done most of the time. We do like them here. 21-14 more against the Giants than for the Browns. And when we look at our best bet, we think you go with the under here. The number we've seen is 39. That keeps you under above that 38 key number. So go with the under on this one. Two good defenses, two lackluster offenses.
That's all for this time. Thank you for joining. Please subscribe to our channel, and we look forward to sharing our future videos with you.